Hey there, what is up guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Caleb. Thanksgiving just ended. We're moving in to December. The holidays continue as we get closer to one of the best days of the year, Christmas. Praise the Lord. And as we get closer and closer to Christmas, I thought I would come out with a cool little Christmas related video for you guys. It is going to basically be like a buying guide, but instead of doing a buying guide, which is kind of weird, I don't know, I decided to do it as my Christmas list, which is these are all things that I would be interested in having. And I think if you know any guy who is interested in the type of things I'm interested in, or maybe who just likes some cool unique stuff, there could be some great options in here for cool things that you could get for the guy in your life as well, or girl, I guess, it doesn't really matter. But these are all the things that are personally on my Christmas list that I would love to receive for Christmas. Without further ado, let's get into the video. We are going to generally be starting from lowest to highest, and we're going to kind of be going over everything that I think is great. So let's hop right into it. The first thing is going to be a Moleskine dotted lined or a dotted notebook. So this is what I'm using right here. It's this Moleskine notebook. You'll see here that it has dots instead of lines. And I find that this makes them a lot more useful for lots of different individual uses. You can get a lot more of interesting use out of it, and the dots work just like lines instead, and they also kind of get out of the way more for when you're writing. So I like that a lot. These are about $18. They can range in like the teens to the 20s depending on how big of a size you're buying. I think this little size is perfect. I don't know. I'm assuming it's probably like 8 by something, but yeah, I think this is a great option, like 8.5 by 6 or something like that, these Moleskine notebooks. I've never bought any of the other non-Moleskine brands, but so far I've bought this and I've been using it to organize all of my ideas for making YouTube videos as I've tried to make videos more regularly for you guys, and it has been extremely helpful for that recently. My next item is going to be the 72-hour Merino Boxer Brief from Huckberry. I was watching a video from Huckberry and they were talking about their 72-hour t-shirt, which is basically a merino wool t-shirt that is designed to be able to be worn for 72 hours without having to be washed and without getting gross. As a lot of you guys know, wool has natural antimicrobial effects, and so because of that, you don't have to wash it as often, and you really don't want to wash it as often as you would with something like cotton. I haven't seen those shirts in person. I don't know if they would really fit my personal style. But what I do know is that I love really, really nice and fancy and comfortable underwear. I am totally willing to spend $30 on a pair of underwear. I personally just find that if you kind of space out the buying, you buy yourself once every 1 to 2 months, buy yourself a pair. Eventually, after about a year, you've got a bunch of really, really nice, comfortable underwear. And I find that having comfortable underwear, especially when you live somewhere that gets really, really hot, during the summer is a huge lifesaver, especially if you want to wear pants all summer long like I do. It's definitely worth it to invest in some comfortable underwear. My next item on the list is going to be the Paul Bunyan boot socks from Darn Tough Vermont. I was told about Darn Tough Vermont by watching Carl Morawski videos. I've never been huge into socks. In the next year, I'm going to need to seriously overhaul my sock game, and I'm going to end up needing to replace a large majority of my socks. I'm thinking of maybe I'll do a video of reviewing some different socks, kind of give you guys some feedback, and we'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, let's move on to the next item. Next on our list is going to be the Codina. Let's see here, let me read it off the book. The Codina 1935 MS number 861 flower stamped belt. You'll see that here. This is from a gentleman named Matt Codina. I don't think this one is hand tooled. It looks like it's a stamp, and well, it says that it's stamped, which means that you get kind of the tooled look out of it. It's not going to be the same exact quality, but he also includes these specialty buckles on most of his belts that I think are absolutely beautiful. He does sell them separately for about 75 bucks. I've definitely been considering buying one of those recently. They're absolutely beautiful, vintage looking buckles. I really, really enjoy those. So that's something definitely worth looking into. It's going to be about $165 for that belt, which is about on the medium to high range for a for a stamped belt. I would also like to make 2 other quick belt recommendations if you're interested. VEB Leather, who is going to be John from Vintage Engineer Boots on Instagram. I've met him in person. I will show you guys this. He gave me this veg tan little keychain here, key fob. You can see how crazy dark this is. You can kind of see in some of the cracks where it used to be lighter colored. But he gave me this when I met him in person, and it has considerably aged. I'll put up a picture for you guys right here of what it initially looked like. He has a lot of really great belts, wallets, and little keychains and leather accessories like that. Last thing, Rose Anvil has those cool micro adjust belts too, so those could also be a great option if you have someone who wants an exact size. He offers basically belts that are able to be sized every half size, which is a pretty cool option as well. Next on my list is going to be a pretty unique option, but if you have someone in your family or someone you want to get a gift for, or maybe just a cool idea, would be, especially for a lot of guys I know who are really into grilling and who are into eating healthy and who love to get their doses of red meat, I would look into maybe one of those meat subscription boxes. I know that if someone got me a meat subscription box, I would be super hyped up to get a giant package of different cow meat to get to grill up and cook up. So that could be something really, really cool to look at for someone. Next on my list is going to be something that I've really been looking into heavily. I've been really wanting to get a wool sweater, and I was initially messaging some different people about getting a hand knit actual Aran sweater, but I was unable to get responses from anyone, and so because of that, I started looking into some machine knits and looking for different options. I really wasn't interested in paying like the $500 for some machine knit sweaters that you get, especially when, for me, having an issue of so many sweaters are going to be long in the torso for me, and I know that's going to be an issue. I don't want to spend a bunch of money on a sweater that is going to be super long in the torso and that I'm not going to want to wear. And so because of that, oh, it's also worth noting that where I live, since it doesn't get very cold, I don't want to spend a ton of money on a sweater that I'm not going to be able to wear very often. So I stumbled across, when I was reading like a listicle from one of the heritage brands that comes out with the top 10 whatever lists. It's from the brand Heimat. I believe it's German, Heimat, and this sweater is called the Mini Rollkragen. And so it's going to be a roll neck sweater. And right in between a crew neck and a turtleneck is going to be a roll neck, where it has just a little bit of extra fabric coming up onto your neck. I really like the look of that. It's a cool kind of like fisherman style look, and I think it makes it look a little bit less casual, a little bit more rugged and workwear, and you don't have to actually commit to either the heat of wearing a turtleneck or the kind of being all the way out there with the style of wearing a turtleneck. So that's definitely what I'm looking for. That's going to be $275, and it's made out of 100% virgin wool. Without further ado, let's move on to the next item. Next item is going to be the Resistol Men's Kodiak Stone Cowboy Hat. I'll see that here. This is a super unique style that I've definitely been interested in wearing recently. There's been a trend of these grizzly hats, which are basically going to be these unfinished wool hats, or sorry, not wool hats, unfinished felt hats. Basically, the way the felts come, they look like this with the hair on them, and I think they either end up buffing them out or burning off the hair. I'm not 100% sure. And it's recently become trendy. Back in the day, there were some people who chose to wear these kind of like, they're called grizzly style hats. And it's recently become a bit of an emerging trend to wear hats like that in that style. And so this is something that I think is super cool. It comes with a 6-inch crown and a 4.5-inch brim. So that's pretty much big enough to do, especially with the crown, almost any hat style you're interested in the crown section. It's going to be kind of the medium to medium long length in the brim. My only concern with this hat, and it would make me want to maybe spend a little bit more money on a hat, that I think it could have a fake leather sweatband. It didn't really say on the website. A lot of Western wear stores, despite selling generally expensive and nice stuff, do a really bad job of telling you the details on the different items, especially if you're not in person. And so because of that, it's hard to really figure out what's going on. In my own personal experience, I've found that I really don't enjoy wearing hats with a cheap or a fake leather sweatband. Next item, and probably the thing that I want and I am the most excited for this to wear once I end up getting it. I may or may not know that someone has gotten this for me, and I'm super excited. This is my favorite item on the whole list, is going to be the Filson tin cloth work jacket. I was really wanting a jacket as a good in-between from my heavy leather jacket that I have and my lighter denim jackets. I ended up, right after asking my lady for this, I ended up buying myself the Lee Stormrider jacket, which has kind of filled that same role, but I still want this. There's nothing that I have that really looks like this jacket. I think it's so beautiful. I love the contrast collar. I was originally looking at maybe the Shortline Cruiser, but I found that the contrast collar and the bigger pockets kind of made it look more vintage and more heritage. The Shortline Cruiser looks a little modern for my taste, although technically it is a tad shorter in the body, which I would appreciate. But I'm really, really excited to get this. I don't have any waxed canvas outside of the tote that I carry around from Bradley Mountain. And so I'm really excited to get my hands on that bag or on that jacket and get the chance to wear it. It'll be a great option for when it rains around here, something to kind of block all the rain. The going that I was interested in is going to be the NYX Thurman Last boots. So here's an example of what those look like. Those are going to be costing around $600 to $700 for a pair of NYX boots. I would personally want to do a custom build. I don't find that I'm a huge fan of a lot of their stock builds, especially just because I'm not interested in having a toe stiffener in my boots if I'm buying that style of boots, unless I absolutely need it. And so because of that, I would be interested in getting a flat toe, which means you kind of have to go with the custom options. These are great for someone like me. I was really happy to see NYX came out with this, because someone like me whose toes get squished so easily in so many pairs of boots, and it's gotten to the point where I've actually had some foot injuries due to trying to wear boots that were too tight. I'm definitely interested in looking at a pair of boots like this that has more of an anatomical foot shape. These are based off of the Munson Last. I'm really interested in getting into those. That's going to wrap up this Christmas list video. Hopefully it gave you guys some cool options. Honestly, even if it didn't give you anything, even if you didn't want anything that I wanted, hopefully you at least had some fun listening to me talk about this. I love watching people's buying guides and Christmas list videos, even though 90% of the time I don't want anything that they listed. I found that recently with this year's Carl Morawski list. Pretty much everything he listed, I was like, what the hell? I don't want any of this, but it was still a great video and I loved watching it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you have a great holidays. I hope you have a great Christmas. Don't forget the reason for the season. And I will check you guys next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a great week.